Black Adam. Nearly 5,000 years after being endowed with the omnipotent powers of the ancient gods and imprisoned just as quickly, Black Adam is freed from his earthly tomb, ready to unleash his unique form of justice in the modern world. This American superhero film, based on the DC Comics character of the same name, it's a spin-off of the movie Shazam of 2019 and is the 11th film in the DC Comics extended universe known as DCEU. This production is directed by John Colette Serra and stars Dwayne Johnson in the main role of Teth Adam, known later as Black Adam, along with other renowned actors such as Pierce Brosnan in the role of Dr. Fate. For us, who don't know anything about this character, his origins, and of the universe of superheroes, either from DC or Marvel, we found the story to be interesting, different, entertaining, somewhat confusing and complicated at first, to be honest, with some ridiculous or exaggerated parts, but exciting and with a good dose of action. There are also scenes where humorous elements, call them comic relief moments, are used, such as in parts of the dialogue between the characters, among others, but these are not too present or overly exaggerated, so they don't detract from the seriousness of the story and therefore from the credibility of the production, as has been the case in other superhero films we have watched. What we liked was how the story covers in a direct and open manner how the existing superheroes, in this case those represented by the members of the Justice Society, just in case we found out that it's not the same as the Justice League, had done nothing for decades to help the people of Kandak get rid of their murderous oppressors, members of this so-called inter-gang criminal organization, and only go there offering help, rather a military intervention, when Black Adam appears and becomes one way or another into the vigilante champion of such movie-invented country. In reality, what these superheroes want is to control Black Adam at all costs and to bend him to the will of their so-called Justice Society. Justice? To whom? Anyhow, what is clear and makes you wonder is that these superheroes, in this case Dr. Fate, Hawkman, Atom Smasher, and Cyclone, including Superman, Aquaman, Flash, among others, who, although not present in the film, exist in that world, as we mentioned earlier, never cared for the suffering of the people of Kandak, and they only went there to look after their own selfish or geopolitical interests. In the end, unable to subdue Black Adam, the pseudo-Justice Society threatens him as seen in the post-credits scenes. And what will become of the people of Kandak? Well, more than certainly the powers that be will implement sanctions or an economic blockade to pressure and overwhelm them. Sounds familiar, doesn't it? All this part of the story made us think and reflect on the fact that this same thing has happened and happens in our present real world, and is reflected, for example, in extremely inhumane situations that exist, for example, in Palestine or Yemen, to mention just two countries of many where nobody does anything to find solutions to end the suffering of the people there. We would love to see in our present world, as in the movie, a true vigilante champion for Palestine or Yemen. Just imagine for 1 second if one did appear. What would the great superpowers do about it? It makes you wonder, don't you think? Well, as for the production elements, such as the set designs, costumes, soundtrack, cinematography, special effects, among others, these are all good, highlighting the special effects that we found them to be very good and even better compared to those used in other similar productions. The performances of the entire cast seemed decent to us, highlighting the performances of Dwayne Johnson and Pierce Brosnan that we found good for being credible, convincing, and not at all staged. As you know, this film has been criticized a lot by many film critics, including the performance of Dwayne Johnson as Black Adam. But honestly, we don't pay much attention to the drama or controversy created by these negative reviews. For us, truthfully, the movie is neither very good, excellent, or spectacular, but in the end, it entertains you and keeps you interested from beginning to end. And if one is a true fan of the DC Comics universe, the movie in its entirety and the post-credits scenes where Superman appears will be tremendously enjoyable and will make any fan think about where the superhero universe is headed. So, in the end, we found this production to be a good movie, and that's why we give it a well-deserved score of 3 stars out of 5. Until next time.